She demanded, "Do it again." My friends said it was embarrassing. That's when I took the ring back. I'm proposing a life, not a viral clip. If their approval is the price, consider the wedding canceled and my self-respect finally paid in full. I'm Dylan, 30, and 3 months ago I proposed to my girlfriend Haley, 28. We'd been together for 4 years, living together for 2. I thought I'd nailed it. Sunset at the San Diego pier where we had our first date. Her grandma's sapphire set in a modern ring, her mom's blessing, even a hidden photographer among the crowd. She cried happy tears, said yes, and posted everything online that night. Hundreds of likes, comments, and #forever captions. It felt like the start of something beautiful. The next weekend, we had dinner with her so-called friends. Brooke, Mia, and Lauren. The self-appointed toxic committee who treated friendship like a competition sport. They arrived overdressed and overperfumed, phones out before the waiter even took our drink order. Brooke showed off her new diamond bracelet. Mia bragged about her boyfriend's destination proposal in Greece. Then Lauren smirked across the table. Yours was cute too, cozy and budget-friendly. Their laughter was sharp, metallic. I watched Haley's proud smile falter, her shoulders tighten, her eyes drop to her plate. The ring that had made her cry with joy just a week earlier suddenly looked like a piece of glass in her hand. I told myself she'd shake it off, that our moment meant more than a price tag. I was wrong. The drive home was a quiet funeral. No music, no words, just the rhythmic thud of the tires and the hum of tension thick enough to choke on. Haley stared out the window like she was in a music video about heartbreak. Arms crossed, diamond ring glinting in the city lights. When we pulled into the garage, she sat there a moment before unbuckling, exhaled sharply, and said, "I can't believe you thought that was enough." Inside, she didn't even take her coat off before it began. The pier? Seriously? You couldn't even pick somewhere new. You said it was romantic, I replied, still half stunned. I was being nice, she snapped. Mike proposed in Paris, Dylan. Paris. And you gave me seagulls and salt air. I stood there, frozen. The same girl who used to tell me she loved simple moments, cooking breakfast in pajamas, movie nights on the couch, was suddenly sneering at the exact thing she used to say mattered most. And the ring? She went on, voice dripping with venom. My grandma's old stone? You couldn't even buy me my own diamond. That hit harder than I'd admit. I'd spent weeks working with a jeweler to reset her grandmother's sapphire, the one she once called the only thing I'd ever want to wear on my wedding day. I thought I was being sentimental. Turns out I was being cheap. For years of memories, road trips, laughter, late-night takeout, all rewritten in one tantrum. I didn't shout back. I just asked, "So what do you want me to do?" She crossed her arms. Redo it. Something that actually shows my worth. Something my friends would be jealous of. I studied her. The woman I thought I knew, now unrecognizable in her hunger for validation. I could have ended it right there. I should have. But a strange calm came over me instead. That cold, dangerous kind of calm that doesn't come from peace, but clarity. All right, I said evenly. Give me a week. Haley's whole demeanor changed. She smiled, triumphant, as if she'd just won something. See? That's all I'm asking, she said, brushing past me toward the bedroom. Before she disappeared down the hall, she added with a soft laugh, "Make sure it's special this time." The door clicked shut, and I stood there alone in the living room, staring at the faint reflection of the two of us in the dark TV screen. One man who thought love was partnership, and one woman who thought love was performance. She had no idea how special it was going to be. The next morning, I woke up early. Haley was still asleep, her phone buzzing every few minutes with group chat notifications. Brooke's name flashing repeatedly. I made coffee, sat at the kitchen island, and began planning. Not another proposal. Not a redo. A reveal. First step. Find out what special meant to her. Over the next few days, I listened carefully. She dropped hints constantly. Luxury venues, designer rings, influencer-style photo shoots. I pretended to take notes, nodding thoughtfully, letting her believe I was crafting the perfect public redemption arc for her reputation. Meanwhile, I started making my own arrangements. My friend Noah, a professional videographer, owed me a favor from a project I helped him land last year. I called him that afternoon. "Hey man," I said, "you still do engagement shoots?" "Yeah, occasionally." "Why?" "I need one, but a little different." He laughed. "Different how?" "Let's just say it's not for the happy ending people expect." We met later that day at his studio. I explained everything. How she'd humiliated me, mocked the proposal, demanded a redo to impress her friends. Noah listened, half horrified, half fascinated. "So you're gonna expose her?" he asked. "Not expose," I corrected. "Just show her reflection. Let her see what she's become." I had Noah help me set up a fake surprise proposal shoot. One that looked expensive, meticulously planned, with hidden cameras and perfect lighting. I even booked a small private venue overlooking the ocean. Haley would think I'd caved to her demands. She'd bring her friends. And that's when she'd learn the difference between special and spectacle. By the end of the week, she was glowing again, posting teasers on her Instagram story about something big coming soon. She even hinted to her friends that I was making up for the first one. Every post, every selfie, every hashtag was more fuel for the fire. And I smiled through all of it, playing the devoted fiancé she wanted the world to see. Because in 7 days, Haley would get the grand proposal she always dreamed of. Only this time, the audience would see her for who she really was. Haley spent the entire week acting like a bride-to-be on a Netflix series. Every morning started with a new delivery: spa kit, lash appointment, dress rental. Every night ended with her scrolling through Pinterest boards titled Dream Proposal 2.0 and Ring Goals. I played along. I nodded at every idea, smiled at every hint. She talked about it like it was a production, not a promise, and I realized that's exactly what it was. To her, love wasn't something you built. It was something you broadcasted. By Wednesday, the group chat was practically a live event. Brooke was asking if there'd be fireworks. Mia kept guessing rooftop champagne reveal. And Lauren, ever the skeptic, wrote, "If he doesn't top Mike's Paris proposal, dump him again." Haley laughed when she read it out loud. "Oh, she's joking," she said, but her eyes said otherwise. I had to hand it to her. She was committed. Thursday, she got her nails done in a color called Princess Pearl. Friday, she booked a blowout, a spray tan, and a stylist for whatever he's planning. On Saturday morning, she looked at me over her smoothie and said, "You're being very calm about all this." "I'm confident," I replied. "You'll love it." She smiled, oblivious. By that evening, my plan was in place. Noah had his crew set up at Luna Bean Cafe, a cozy, artsy coffee spot downtown. It had a small stage, warm lighting, and an open floor plan. Perfect for what I needed. I'd arranged with the manager to reserve a section and keep cameras rolling. At 6:45, I sent the first text: Be ready at 7. Dress nice. Her: "Where are we going?" Me: "You'll see." She replied with 3 heart emojis and a "can't wait" 2 hearts. 10 minutes later, her story popped up, a boomerang of her blowing a kiss to the camera with the caption, "Tonight's the night, clinking glasses, ring sparkles." I waited another 15 minutes, then sent the second message. Me: "Change of plans. Restaurant canceled. Meet me at Luna Bean Cafe instead." The typing bubbles appeared, then vanished, then reappeared. Her: "Are you kidding me? I got ready for hours for a cafe." Me: "Trust me." She left it on read for a full 5 minutes before replying, "Fine." When she arrived, heads turned. She was dressed like she just walked off a magazine cover. Shimmering dress, heels clicking on tile, a cloud of perfume trailing behind her. The barista behind the counter actually whispered, "Whoa!" She spotted me instantly. I was standing near the center of the room, pretending to talk to Noah's assistant. She walked over, flashing that influencer smile she'd perfected. The one that said, "Look at me, I'm living my best life." "Really?" she hissed quietly. "A coffee shop?" I leaned closer, just enough for her to hear me over the chatter. "Relax. You'll see." Then I turned, took a deep breath, and dropped to one knee. A ripple went through the room. Chairs scraped, gasps filled the air, and right on cue, phones came out. Every table had someone recording, some whispering, some smiling. Haley's hand shot to her mouth. Her face transformed, shock melting into glowing pride. The crowd, the cameras, the moment, exactly what she wanted. Haley, I began, keeping my voice steady. These past 4 years have meant everything to me. You've taught me about love, laughter, and lessons. A small, knowing smile tugged at my lips. Her friends, sitting at a nearby table. Yes, I'd made sure of that, were already tearing up, recording the whole thing. Brooke had her phone angled perfectly. Lauren had her smug little grin, ready to judge the ring. From the moment I met you, I continued, I knew you'd change my life. I just didn't realize how much. A few chuckles rippled through the audience. Haley giggled too, misreading it as charm. I wanted tonight to be unforgettable, I said. And it will be. I pulled out a small velvet box, not the ring. Inside was a USB drive, sleek and silver. Confusion flickered across her face. What's that? She whispered, still smiling for the crowd. Proof, I said softly, that love isn't about spectacle. It's about truth. Noah, right on cue, dimmed the lights. The projector behind us flicked on, screen descending like a curtain. Haley froze. On the wall appeared the first image, a compilation of screenshots. Her text to Brooke, Mia, and Lauren. If he doesn't make it bigger this time, I swear I'll die of embarrassment. He's redoing it. Finally. Maybe he'll prove he's not cheap. Gasps filled the room. Haley's hand dropped from her mouth. I stood, pocketing the USB. I figured you wanted your proposal to be public, I said quietly, but loud enough for the room to hear. So I made sure the truth was public too. Her friends were pale. Someone in the corner whispered, "Oh my God." Haley stammered, "Dylan, what is this?" I looked at her, really looked at her, the girl I once loved now drowning in her own vanity. "You said you wanted something special. Congratulations, Haley. You just got it." The room erupted, murmurs, cameras still rolling. Haley's face shifted from shock to rage to humiliation. She turned and bolted for the door, heels clattering across tile, Brooke chasing after her. I stayed kneeling for a few seconds longer, just long enough to feel the weight of silence settle back over the room. Then I stood, nodded at Noah, and walked out into the night, the noise of the cafe fading behind me like applause after a final act. I took a deep breath, surveying the room. Haley was still trembling, her perfectly sculpted nails gripping the edges of her chair. Her friends were frozen, phones hovering in midair, unsure whether to intervene or keep recording. The cafe had gone silent, the background chatter replaced by a tense hum of anticipation. "Haley," I said, projecting my voice so the entire room could hear. "You asked me to redo my proposal because your friends thought the first one was embarrassing. So here it is, I'm officially proposing." I paused, letting the words sink in. "That we see other people." The gasp was immediate, collective. Phones clicked and whirred as people tried to capture the moment. Brooke's mouth hung open. Mia froze mid-sip. Lauren's smirk disappeared entirely, replaced by wide-eyed disbelief. Haley's jaw dropped. "What?" she stammered, voice cracking. "You wanted a public moment?" I continued calmly. "Congratulations. This one's viral ready too." Her face flushed crimson. Without thinking, she slapped me across the cheek. A sharp, stinging reminder that pride still has its defenses. Cameras kept rolling. "You humiliated me," she screamed, voice echoing off the cafe walls. "No, Haley," I said, stepping back, my tone quiet but cutting. "You did that the day you decided likes meant more than love." I opened the small velvet box, holding the sapphire ring, her grandmother's heirloom that had symbolized our years together. Her eyes followed it, wide and desperate. "Give this back to your mom," I said. "For me, it meant forever. For you, it wasn't shiny enough." The room remained frozen as I turned on my heel, walking past stunned customers and a few murmuring baristas. Her friends were shouting, trying to catch my attention, but I ignored them. The door closed behind me with a satisfying click, the night air cool against my face. By the time I got home, the chaos had followed me online. TikTok notifications were buzzing relentlessly. I opened the app, scrolling through the flood of reactions. Guy reproposes. To break up flushed face fire. The video had hit 1 million views in 6 hours. Comments poured in faster than I could read. Iconic! Finally someone with boundaries. She got exactly what she deserved. I sat back on my couch, exhausted but oddly serene. The sapphire glinted faintly in the moonlight streaming through the window. My phone continued to ping. Texts from friends who had seen the clip, laughing, applauding, some even crying at the audacity of it all. I poured a drink, watching the screen buzz with hundreds of new notifications every minute. Some were shocked, some supportive, most entertained. In that moment, I realized it wasn't just the public spectacle that mattered. It was the accountability. Every laugh, every shocked face, every viral comment was a reminder that 4 years of manipulation, vanity, and performative love had ended on my terms. The best part? No social media filter could fix her pride now. No staged photos, no curated captions, no hashtags could spin what had just happened. She had asked for a redo, she got one. And it wasn't romantic, it wasn't glamorous, it wasn't about likes. It was about truth. For the first time in months, I felt light. Not angry, not vindictive, just free. Haley's departure, both literal and virtual, left a vacuum, and in that space, I finally breathed. I could see the horizon beyond her influence, beyond the curated expectations, beyond the toxicity that had slowly eaten away at the foundation of what I thought we shared. I took another sip, smiling faintly at the sapphire on the table. For me, it was still forever. But forever didn't have to include her. And that, more than any viral clip or dramatic exit, was worth every second of planning, every ounce of patience, every subtle step in the art of the perfect revenge proposal. The morning after the cafe debacle, my phone was already ringing. First up, Haley's mom. I picked up, still nursing a mug of coffee, and immediately heard her shrill panic. "What's wrong with you?" she shouted. I calmly laid out the sequence of events, step by step. The proposal, her friends' reactions, Haley's tantrums, and my public breakup proposal. She went silent for a beat, then hung up mid-sentence. Classic. Meanwhile, Haley had taken to Instagram. "Narcissists can't handle strong women," she typed. Picture perfectly framed, caption dripping with indignation. But the cafe footage had already hit Twitter, TikTok, and Reddit. And the world had opinions, none of them on her side. The clip racked up views in the hundreds of thousands, each comment dissecting her vanity, her obsession with appearances, her performance of love. Then came the texts. Brooke, Mia, Lauren. Essays accusing me of emotional abuse, public humiliation, and lack of empathy. I didn't respond immediately. Instead, I screenshot every single group chat exchange I'd had with them over the past week. The mocking, the plotting, the laughter about my budget proposal. Brooke went silent, ghosted completely. Mia sent a shaky apology the next day. Lauren, however, escalated. She showed up at my apartment, petite dress, heels clicking with the kind of deliberate seduction that made my stomach turn. "You deserve someone who appreciates you," she whispered, leaning against my doorframe. I arched an eyebrow. "You mean someone who didn't laugh at my cheap ring?" She giggled nervously, the bravado finally cracking. "I was kidding," she admitted, and for the first time, I saw genuine embarrassment flash across her face. I pointed toward the door. "Get out." She hesitated, then scuttled down the stairs like a mouse caught in the spotlight. A week later, the final twist arrived. Haley's grandmother called, voice trembling, tears in her words. Apparently, Haley had spun a new narrative, that I had stolen the sapphire ring, her heirloom. I drove over immediately, careful to bring the receipt, screenshots, and the story of what had actually happened. The family gathered in the living room, murmuring, tense, unsure who to believe. I laid out every piece of proof step by step. The room fell quiet, all eyes on me and the sapphire, gleaming in its little box. The grandmother's eyes softened. She took the ring in her hands, examined it, and then, with a slow, deliberate smile, handed it over to Haley's younger sister. "At least one of my granddaughters values love over price tags," she said, voice steady and full of wisdom. I smiled politely, my heart light. Haley's theatrics had collapsed in a heap of viral embarrassment, strained friendships, and disappointed family. The sapphire, once a symbol of our love, had now delivered a poetic justice all on its own. And for me, I walked away from that house lighter than I'd felt in years. The ring safe in responsible hands, the drama diffused, and the lesson clear. Love that requires an audience isn't love at all. This was more than closure. It was a victory wrapped in honesty, humor, and just a hint of theatrical revenge. Haley had wanted spectacle. She got it. But the story didn't end with her. It ended with the truth, the sapphire shining as a reminder that genuine value isn't measured in carats or applause. That night, the fallout rippled through Haley's world like a shockwave. Her family split almost immediately. Her dad pulled me aside in the kitchen, voice low, eyes sincere. "Wish I'd done what you did years ago," he said, shaking my hand with a mixture of relief and quiet admiration. Her mom, still reeling from the cafe video, retreated to her room muttering about boundaries and narcissism. The friend group imploded in spectacular fashion. Brooke got dumped by her boyfriend 2 days later, citing irreconcilable differences and bad life choices. Mia lost her social footing entirely, everyone calling out the endless gossip and mockery she'd participated in. And Lauren, the one who had shown up at my apartment in a tiny dress, became the punchline of every post about the incident when someone leaked her flirty visit to me. Overnight, the hierarchy she'd relied on crumbled. Haley tried a subtle comeback. A voice note, tearful, rehearsed, and full of guilt. "I've been doing therapy. I get it now. Love isn't about grand gestures. Maybe we could take a trip together, just to heal." I listened, calm, then deleted it. No reply, no explanation. Some lessons, I thought, are better absorbed in silence. Now my apartment is quiet. My space is mine again. Clean, uncluttered, free from the performance art of vanity and entitled expectations. And the so-called immature gaming buddies she mocked? They're my real support network. They check in, make me laugh, and never judge. Sometimes, when we're out grabbing lunch or shooting pool, someone recognizes me. "Bro, you're the cafe guy." Legendary. I just laugh, raising my coffee in a subtle salute. Haley's Instagram? A parade of yachts, cryptic motivational quotes, and her new crypto boyfriend flaunting wealth. She clearly wanted to validate herself. Comments are disabled. No likes, no engagement, just a glossy veneer of a life she thinks matters. Completely hollow. I realize now that I offered her something she couldn't comprehend. A life rooted in authenticity, respect, and shared joy. She wanted a viral moment, an audience, applause for a proposal she could claim as her own. She got it, but in chasing spectacle, she sacrificed substance, friendship, and family trust. If her friend's approval was the price of love, then the wedding's canceled and my self-respect? Finally, after 4 years of testing, it's paid in full. I sit on my balcony now, the city lights stretching out below, sapphire glinting faintly in the drawer beside me, a reminder of the story's poetic justice. I smile quietly. Freedom doesn't roar. It whispers steady and clear in the absence of chaos. Sometimes the most satisfying revenge isn't loud or public. It's calm, it's deliberate, and it leaves you with more than satisfaction. It leaves you whole. The world witnessed her drama. The audience laughed, gasped, and judged. But I walked away with the one thing no Instagram post, no yacht, no glittering distraction could ever give her. Peace, dignity, and a life uncompromised by vanity. Some nights I still think of Haley, of the moment she realized her performance had failed spectacularly. I smile to myself. Karma has a way of finding its own stage, and tonight it bowed gracefully. Because I didn't just cancel a wedding. I reclaimed my story, my time, my love, and in the end, that's the only proposal worth saying yes to.